Now, there are few foods in the South that are as sacred as the almighty biscuit. Everyone swears up and down that they have the best biscuit recipe, but my grandmother truly was a master of that craft. When she passed away some years ago, unfortunately, her biscuit recipe went with her, and I've been trying for years to come up with a recipe that would make her proud, and I think I've got it. So today on
Cooking with Mark,
we're celebrating 100 followers with one of my favorite recipes in the whole wide world. We're making biscuits, baby. Let's go. Did I mention this is the 100 follower super spectacular all-star episode? Good. Let's get with these ingredients. 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 7 tablespoons of very cold butter-flavored vegetable shortening, and 3/4 cup cold buttermilk. First, preheat your oven to 425. Then, in a large mixing bowl, whisk together your flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and sugar. Cut your cold butter into cubes and add it to the flour mixture. Using a pastry cutter, a fork, or your fingers, cut the butter into the flour until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. You want the flour to have the consistency of something like the kinetic sand, where you hold it together and it'll hold its shape, but it will also crumble too. Then, pour your cold buttermilk and gently stir until the dough just comes together. Be careful not to overmix. Then, turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface. Gently pat it into a rectangle about ½ an inch thick. Then fold the dough into thirds and pat it down again. Repeat this folding process 2 or 3 times to create layers. That will help the biscuits rise and become flaky. Next, get your favorite Garfield glass from the 80s and use it to cut out your biscuits. Any leftover dough, you can re-roll and cut out more biscuits. Place the biscuits on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and bake in a 425-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes until the biscuits are golden brown on top. Here we are, biscuits. Absolutely delicious biscuits. And you know what? There's only one thing better than having biscuits fresh out of the oven. And that's biscuits and gravy. You didn't think we were going to get 100 followers and just do a biscuit video? No. Biscuits and gravy, baby. Surprise, bonus episode. Let's go. All right. We did biscuits. We got to do the gravy. Here are the ingredients. 1 pound, that's 16 ounces of breakfast sausage. I would go for the savory kind here, not the sweet kind. 3 tablespoons all-purpose flour. 1/4 cup of butter. 2 cups of milk. And salt and pepper to taste. The first thing you want to do is brown your sausage. Now add your 1/4 cup of butter and let it melt. Once your butter is melted, add your flour and stir so it combines with the butter and the sausage. Next, add your milk and continuously stir until the gravy begins to thicken. This will take a couple minutes. During this time, add your salt and pepper and taste often to make sure it's seasoned how you like it. You're probably going to need more pepper than you think you need, but just make sure that you don't over-season because you can't unseason it. I used about ½ a tablespoon in mine, and it turned out perfect. So there you have it. Biscuits and gravy, homemade biscuits, my absolute favorite food on planet Earth. There is absolutely no question. Get in the comments if you disagree. But because we're doing a 100 follower super spectacular today on
Cooking with the Mark,
then I think we can up this big activity to a whole new level. You know what? As a matter of fact, start the whole thing over again. So the other day I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw the most big back thing I've ever seen. Someone had made sausage gravy with chorizo sausage, and I genuinely thought, this is incredible. I don't know if I should try it. And then I hit 100 followers on TikTok and thought, well, now's the chance. So today on
Cooking with the Mark,
we're celebrating 100 followers as the finale to our Biscuits and Gravy trilogy with chorizo sausage gravy. Are you ready? Good, let's go. Oh boy, we're getting crazy with this one. Here are the ingredients. Pretty much the same as your regular sausage gravy, but instead of breakfast sausage, we're using 9 ounces of chorizo, 3 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups of milk, salt and pepper to taste. Now you're going to do the same thing as before and cook your chorizo. Depending on what kind of chorizo you have, you may have enough oil and grease in the pan to not have to add the butter. We didn't need to do it, so we're not going to add it. Now, add your flour and stir to combine. Then, add your milk just as before. You want to continuously stir. This gravy came together exceptionally quick. So quick, in fact, that I had to add an extra half a cup of milk to give me a little bit more time so I could stir it and make sure that everything was where it needed to be. Add your salt and pepper to taste. You want to stir continuously until everything comes together and gets thick. I don't know, man. I don't know. Everything about this was the first time running through, and I'm not sure how this is going to taste. So we are going to experience this together. Okay? Let's see what we are working with. The gravy is a little bit softer than or runnier than I was expecting, partially because of all the fat and stuff that came out of the chorizo. So let's see. Here we go. That's different. Kind of spicy in a good way. Hold on. That's good. It's different. I think that this would absolutely kill with some eggs and some cheese to go along with these biscuits and gravy. Make a whole meal. Absolutely incredible. I will make this again and I will perfect this when we hit 200 followers. That's our next milestone. That's what we're doing. And I want to say right now, thank you, everybody who has been a part of this journey. Now that we've hit 100 followers, I want to go further. I want to keep doing this. Thank you for watching.
Cooking with the
And thank
Mark.
you so much for being a part of this. I love each and every one of you. And I will see you next time.